Hey everybody, and welcome to How To Videos with Dr. Gates. This video is going to focus on using Google Forms, which are a very fun application and can be useful for so many things. So to use Google Forms or any of the other Google Apps or Docs or Drives, you first need a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, go to gmail.com in any browser and sign up for a free Gmail email account and log in. Once you've logged in, if you go to the upper right-hand corner to the matrix, you can get directly to your Drive, which is where you want to go first in order to create and manage and analyze your Google Forms. So once you're in your Google Drive and you click Create, one of the choices is a Google form. And forms are useful for taking surveys. They're great for giving quizzes if you're in the area of education. They're great for party invites. They're great for weddings. They're great for keeping information from teams or classrooms or groups or really any kind of collaborative effort. And what's nice about forms is you can email them to people via the link or the Drive, and we'll see both options. They will fill out the form, and the data from the form will automatically be sent to an Excel type document right in your Google Drive. And so we're going to see all these goodies happen. So when you first choose form, you can choose a blank form if you would like, or you can select from one of their options. And so you can see that they definitely have some available for weddings and parties and such. And we'll just go with this particular form. And then we're going to give our form a title. We'll just call this example form, and we'll click OK. Once we do this, we start with a number of options right at the top of our form, and the name of your form is always in the upper left, just like any of your other Google Docs. In this case, the first question is, do you want to show the person who's filling out your form a progress bar? I tend to check this because people become nervous if they're not sure how many questions they're going to have to answer, and not everyone has lots of time on their hands. So this is definitely an option. The name of our form is example form, but you can always change this if you wish, and you can edit it at a later date as well. If you choose to, you can describe the form, maybe the reason that you're doing this or the goal, and that is up to you as well. Once you're ready to start building your form, the first area for the first question is already available to you. So let's say I want to create a form all about chocolate. And the title of this question, or the question being asked, maybe is going to be, do you like chocolate? Okay, and since I want to collect data, I might want to do something like, or vanilla. And I'll use the word better. Okay, so that's an interesting question. I can choose from amongst many different types of questions. For example, I can let them just fill their answer in a text and or paragraph. I can make it multiple choice. Check boxes, you can choose more than one answer. They can choose from a list that I'll create for them. I can create a scale, a grid, and other options as well. I'll create a multiple choice as our first example. The first option, option 1, we will put dark chocolate. Maybe for option 2, I will put milk chocolate. Maybe for option 3, I will put white chocolate. And these are the different choices that we're going to let them choose from. And in this case, I want to require that they answer this question so that if they don't answer it, it pops up a little box saying, hey, you forgot to answer the chocolate or vanilla question. All right, so I'm done with this question. I'll click Done. But I'd like to create a much larger survey. I want to ask several other questions. So as many questions as you want to ask, you will continue to choose the Add Item button. So if I choose to add another item, I can title this question again. So this is going to be question number 2, which maybe is, how dark do you like your chocolate? Okay. And in this case, I don't want to give them a text box. I think maybe I want to do a scale because I'm looking for a range. Maybe the first option is very milky, and maybe the second option is, let's say, 45% chocolate because now they have these different percentages. And we're going to go, and actually it looks like we're going to choose 1 or 2 here, but oops, I want to add an extra option here. This isn't enough. So I actually think I would like to have a scale from 1 to 10, and instead of doing the 45% here, I think I'm going to put 95% chocolatey here. And so this gives them the whole range or scale that's going on, and I want to require this question as well. So I'm done with this one, but now I want another. And you can see how the questions come out differently. This one was multiple choice, but this one gave a nice range. We chose it to go all the way from 1 to 10, from very milky to 90% chocolate. Let's add another question. In this case, I don't want a text box. I think I want check boxes, which allows them to choose more than one answer. So how about list all the chocolate types that you like? And in this case, maybe option 1 is going to be, say, 30%, which is milky. And maybe option 2 is going to be 45%. And then maybe option 3 will be the 55%, which is always really delicious, and so on and so forth. As many options as you want to give them. You can require or not require the question and continue with the process. And so as you can see, each question type has a different format. These checkboxes, the scale, the multiple choice, and so on. So if we choose to add one more item, just to take another look at all the options we have for question types, we can choose text, paragraph, multiple choice, checkboxes, which gives them several options to choose from. We can create a list, which is a scale, a grid. And let's take a look at the grid, because that's a very interesting option. In this case, we have rows and columns. And so maybe we're thinking about combining coffee and chocolate and seeing how people enjoy coffee and chocolate. So maybe in row 1, we have milk chocolate, and maybe the second label is dark chocolate. And then maybe down column 1 is going to be coffee with cream, and maybe the other one will just be a soy latte. Okay, and so if we create this question, we can require this as well and click done. We see that a person can actually choose, you know what, I like a soy latte with milk chocolate, or I like coffee with cream with dark chocolate. So that's what this type of question gives you, more of a grid, more of a matrix. Once you're done creating your form, which again could be a survey, it could be an invite to a wedding asking people to RSVP and give their information, it could be a quiz where you're having students solve math problems and give their answers. Really anything that is multiple choice or text-based can go in here. The next thing you want to think about with forms is, how do you want to store the data? How do you want to send your form? So down here at the bottom it says show the link to submit another response. This one says publish and show the link to the responses. And this one says allow responders to edit after submitting. We're just going to go with showing the link to submit, and we'll click send on this form. So once I click send, it pops up a box saying to me, okay, here is the link that I can send to anybody I want to fill out this form. I also have the options of sending it to a community, a Google+. I can send it to Facebook, I can send it to Twitter, I can email it to individuals by name, by group, or by email address. If I grab this link, and I'm copying it now, I'll go ahead and dismiss this for a moment. I can open up a new browser window, paste that link directly into that browser window, and there is the form that I just created. And so each time somebody fills this out, and let's go ahead and do this now, do you like chocolate or vanilla better? I'm definitely a dark chocolate person. So I'm going to go with a 9. I like it pretty dark, but 90's pretty heavy. List the chocolates I like. Of this group, just the 55, which is a little milky for me. I like a soy latte with dark chocolate, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and submit the results to this form. Uh-oh, I didn't fill this out correctly. And that's what happens when you force somebody to fill out a question at all or completely. So it looks like I also have to choose, if I'm having coffee with cream, whether I want dark or light. Well, I better go ahead and do that too. And I'll try to. It's not letting me. That's curious. There we go. Now it's happy. Okay. That was a little bit odd, but we're gonna go with it. The next thing that is very interesting is we can see the data. And this is one of my favorite things about the forms in the Drive. So let's go back to our Drive now. We created an example form, and the responses to that form as people fill that survey out or whatever type of form you created are here as well. That was automatically generated when we created the form and chose that option. So let's click the form first, because the form is always in our Drive, and that means that we can edit the form. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't like this question. I don't really like the way this question worked. It made me choose some odd answers. So I think I'm going to try to delete this particular one. So let's find the correct delete option, and let's click on that. Now I don't have to deal with that question anymore. I don't really like the way that question came out. If I click send again, then it'll give me a new URL for that form, which I want to make sure to save. The next thing I can do, going back into the Drive, is I can view the responses. So if I click here, when I filled out this form, it took a date and a timestamp, and it recorded all of the answers that I put into the form, which is perfect because you can then do your analysis either right here in this Excel type document, or you can choose to download this document to your own computer as Microsoft Excel, open it up on your own computer, do whatever analysis you want, and then either share that or re-upload it to the Drive. For those of you who are very stats-oriented, you could also copy this information into SPSS or SAS or another stats package. So that's how to use forms in the Drive, and I hope you have fun with it. Thanks for viewing.